nigga told Assange that he can come back, but he's right. It's like you won't get that Snowden, bro. Don't tell too much truth.
No, you can't tell too much truth.
Tell the truth, tell the slang. Emily Dickinson. Shout out Apple TV. We need the contract, son. Come talk to us, Apple. Come on. We can be like cash shopping Joe Button.
You about to be off your Timberland stuff.
What's the Timberland stuff?
Because he sold Triller to not Jack.
I'm trying to do on the God box.
Versus.
I mean, yeah, he sold Versus to Triller, but Triller is owned by the people who own TikTok.
Oh, so you sold it to the Chinese? Look, the EU got a whole deal with the Chinese, but we on some other stuff. Go ahead.
So, with that being said, we back in here again with another episode of Eavesdrop. And as you all see in the title, today we are going to be briefly talking to you about the aftermath, the kerfuffle that took place with Meghan Markle and the royal family.
You gotta mention her boo, Prince Harry.
Oh yeah, Prince Harry.
That's her old babe, Piers Morgan.
I can't call him the fake white hope too. Bernie the fake white hope. I gotta call Harry something else because he does how he calling him the savior. That's wrong.
He the royal Timberlake. He's the troubled white man that has the trouble past for women of color in the past. So he apologizes because he has a new series on Apple TV.
They actually got a Netflix deal and a bunch of other stuff coming up.
Who got a Netflix deal?
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Again,
that's the Obama plan.
Yeah, they run around here trying, sell their cachet off of being antagonists to the royal family. But with that being said, before we get started, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Like the video, share the video. If you're here, go check out our website. We have our latest video uploaded from the HR 40 hearing, the response video to that. And you do have to subscribe to be able to access certain content. Certain content will be free to anybody who, is perusing a website. And then we will have special content for those who subscribe. Subscription is free. We are not asking for any money. We just want to be able to generate a community so that we can be able to
talk shit to y'all.
Not even just talk shit. Of course, talk shit. Y'all talk shit to us. We talk shit to y'all. But to mobilize, to organize, because with emails, as simple as they are, you can take those emails. I can send y'all information about the stuff that we talk about so that you can be better informed. Again, HR 40 hearing, like bills, stuff like that. Again, also Vice President, DC Young Democrats, if you want to help out over there as well. We have committees that we're going to need help on. So go check out dcyds.org. That will also be helpful. So again, we're trying to engage people in every single way possible. This is probably the most fun way, because a lot of different things can be tedious in nature and not as fun. Like I like having certain discussions and going to certain community meetings because it's just kind of fun to get the exchange.
You know me. That's why I love the fact that we come on here and it's not about being academic as much as about informing people about civics and the important power that they possess as a citizen. It's always also about empowering people. So that's when I say talking shit, it's I want you to come to me with what you believe and how deeply you believe in what you believe, because that's the only way we can build a strong enough community that where we get to know each other temperament enough that we trust each other enough with our deeper feelings. Mm-hmm. And that is a nice way to build a community where it's not about appealing to any authority figure, but it's more so about bowing to the respect that each person is due. And that's what I want to bring to Gilded Sages, and through Gilded Sages to a broader community, which I call a symposium, because it allows me to get fucked up and talk about civics.
What? The shit that they don't talk about in school?
What?
Yeah. But with that being said, again, if you're still with us, like the video, share the video, head over to the website, check us out. But without further ado, let's talk about it. So, you everybody know Meghan Markle, who is a biracial woman who has married into the royal family,
That making me drink.
British UK monarchy that Prince Harry was a part of. You know, he dressed up like
Did he advocate like his grandfather or somebody advocated? That was his uncle. Piers Morgan, the Crown, told me.
Oprah asked him would he go back if they were on different terms, and he said, "Yeah, but we won't get there."
Okay.
So I don't think
I'm just skipping ahead.
I don't think he really gets or is in opposition to the royal family. He made a lot of obvious choices to omit certain words, and I'm gonna take one out of the Shapiro book that. Made sure not to mention that, even when Oprah asked him directly. But we talk about Meghan Markle.
I ain't seen the interview, so
we talking about Black Girl Magic. We talking about
I have a
yes, sis.
It's not
right.
Black Girl Magic. It's grown women hard work. Grown women hard work.
No, they like being called girls when it's beneficial.
No. It's grown women hard work.
It's accountability. They don't want right now. Meghan Markle, no. Because this is the accountability thing. Because she has to be a girl for this to work. Because a woman, first thing Oprah, I ain't gonna say the first thing Oprah asked
so
her.
you were telling me, I didn't see the interview.
Yeah.
But I saw the headlines around it. So what you're saying to me in this distinction is that they try to make Kate Middleton the woman that Meghan Markle should model herself after? Like Kate Middleton is the woman that knows how to be a royal and Meghan Markle doesn't know how to be a royal?
Not to that extent. Okay. So she shouldn't necessarily have to know how to be a royal because she doesn't come from it, and there are a lot of different cultural differences that you have to learn on the fly. But Oprah asked her. She said, as it pertains to this, not just family, because part of what I am tired of hearing is the conflation that the royal family is somehow some regular, typical white family, and they're not. They also, in the royal family, have pillaged other white people, hence, and thus we have, as you call, the rebel Brits come to America, and thus, no, not come to America. Pillage. They did that whole thing that they knew, right? Took that, milled that, and then we have America.
See, you know why I argue for White History Month, right?
I know. We need one.
We need one. Because it's like everyone goes like, oh, they pillaged America. Well, the Anglo-Saxons actually started with their trading after they fought the Dutch. So we kind of asking Europeans not to do things that Europeans used to do, which is fight, because no one wants to be poor. It's like, why are we appealing to white for white approval? If you look at European history, it's like, damn, son, since King Charlemagne, y'all been fighting. Like, damn, y'all been fighting. I'm sorry.
Recklessly.
Not even that. Look at the Western imagination, right? This is how the Western imagination works. When Western Rome fell, you know what they did is like, you know what? East Rome is not East Rome because they don't speak the same language we speak. They are now the Byzantine Empire. No, they're not Christian. They're Eastern Orthodox. Heavy. So why are we appealing to people who go like, no, I'm exceptional no matter what you say. I'm exceptional. Why would you appeal for their approval?
Because you gotta wait for it.
Okay.
Again, she was asked that, but her response in perfect girl fashion was because again, did you do any research on not just a typical white family, but hold on, but an actual family? You say to her, I didn't do any research. Now,
you say to Oprah that she didn't do any research?
She told Oprah that she didn't do any research on the royal family, and this is why she didn't know and understand the culture of the royal family or any of the roots that the royal family could potentially be quote unquote racist.
Yeah,
and even that, right? As I said, check this out. even if you aren't the most astute, even if you aren't the most scholarly, even if you aren't the king of academia, the average person knows, especially when we look at, again, her background in joining the white sorority and being and having access to a privileged life, because she was and eventually became an actor. You have a base understanding that the royal family of the UK is responsible in large part, because I'm not going to say it was them on their own, for the creation of race and the Atlantic slave trade, at the very least. Because you're claiming your African Americanness and you're flipping it down. So being black, you should know that.
It's not the Atlantic slave trade to them. It's called the old corruption. It's called the old corruption, okay? Literally, if you Google that, it's the exact same thing. But if you're saying, okay, let me see if I'm catching you correctly. You're saying Meghan Markle infatuated herself by saying, I didn't do my homework when it came down to marrying into the royal family, and that's what makes her a girl.
Yeah.
Or playing the role of a girl.
Playing the role of a girl.
So she's a woman playing the role of a girl because of the royal family's power?
Not necessarily. It's capitulating to not having accountability of, again, when you're talking about average people, even if you don't do an extensive background search of a family, you're going to do some base level looking. And we know women to the extent that we know we get Google searched before we go out on a date. They know everything about us, to the point where you're talking about you're dating a man who says, imagine a conversation. I'm Prince Harry. Oh my God, you're a prince? A prince of what? Prince of who? Okay. Oh, you're the Prince Britain? Diana? Oh my God. You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that you don't have a small smidgen understanding of, even if, again, not in depth, there's what people like to say red flags there. Oh, your mama got pimped off. Because again, boo boo, you know we Netflix and chilling. Boo boo, what happened to your mama? Your mama?
Son, you gotta stop because now
I'm saying
now you're going to Piers Morgan land.
No, he was right in some regard.
You're going to Piers Morgan land. Because we mentioned in The Crown, and that was the season. I like The Crown. But I never liked Piers Morgan because he's a Tory.
I don't either, but some of what he was saying, all of what he was saying wasn't wrong.
I didn't follow the news. I was watching DW News. I was seeing how the Germans, who is a large exporter of comedy, really feels about their relationship with China, as the EU has a relationship with China, and Brexit is a hard crash. They didn't want that, but they got it. My thing is, again, it's headlines. All I know what I was told, thank you, Freckles. I know what I was told about how Tyler Perry came in and provided security because they didn't provide security for Archie.
And residents.
Tyler Perry did that.
And he got $40 million in the bag from Prince Harry. Traveling with.
Oh, wow. So that also feeds into the Netflix pay. But then when I heard it and I was talking to Freckles about it, I was like, this is nothing new in America. Look up Desiree's Baby by Kate Chopin. And Desiree's Baby, again, status, in which we were talking about this colorism with Meghan Markle and the royal family, status being tied to a phenotype. And Desiree basically loses her status because her past and her heritage becomes questioned because the child is darker than what they expect. So when I heard the news, it's like, oh, America being America. Oh, I'm sorry, this was England. English being England. It's like, why are people
the KKK being the KKK?
It's like, why is they shocked about this? But again, I understand because through Bridgerton, we can actually see that Bridgerton is quite honest. We gotta give it its truth. It was honest in how that black father was on the Duke. It's like, damn, is that how that life is? That's how that life is. Imagine the Duke is Prince Harry in this situation, because it really is. That's type of situation. But with Piers Morgan, we gotta understand that when we speak about the empire in which they literally said this shit, it was proud of it. The empire in which the sun never sets.
That's a whole colloquialism.
Like, that is literally a lot of fucking people.
The sun never sets on the British Empire. Like,
So you literally saying like, no, in 24 hours we need to conquer somebody
And I'm
else.
and I'm gonna bring up why that saying even rings true in a very tangible way.
Literal sense.
Because Queen Elizabeth is also the sovereign of 15 other countries. So you mean to tell me these people own not only people, but they own countries with people in them?
Yeah. It was like King
Let's go.
Leopold in the Congo.
What? Antigua, Australia, Bahamas? No, Barbados, my bad. Canada, Grenada, New Zealand, St. Vincent, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu. These people just
I'm about to fucking
do this. Go ahead.
You want to know why they don't own more?
Why?
Because in World War II, only reason that we entered is because Churchill was like, look, we need our help. FDR was like, we need some land. We need something. And then we took a lot of the islands, like the Philippines.
Didn't they also used to own
The
India?
Bahamas.
And Gandhi protested against it?
Yeah, they did. They did protest against Gandhi. But again, we're talking about when we talk about capitalism, especially Anglo-American capitalism, because we're really, that's what the royals are a symbol of, although they really are Germans. They are a symbol of, they are Germans. James May said it. You don't have to listen to me. Go to Top Gear BBC. He's way easier to Google. He said it. When we start talking about capitalism, we start talking about Europe. I think as a non-white, I need to be very cautious of the expectations I place on white culture because it may not be an element of white culture.
Oh, so you talking about
And
how I always be calling for the disaggregation of whiteness and blackness?
yes. Because we have to, if you look at, I look at European history. I'm like, we need White History Month. I am advocating for July and August because they're both
Before I let
Jewish
you
and
continue,
Augustus. Go ahead.
this is why, again, white people, y'all be in America, stop calling yourself white. If you're a white immigrant, the same way I tell black immigrants, call yourself what you are. Because you playing into a long game that ain't gonna benefit you. Because once they get down to the Anglo-American, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we raping y'all.
We usually, Northern Africans are also called white. It's like Northern Africans don't have the same access as Europeans. Eastern Europeans are not the same as Western Europeans, economically speaking. So just because someone is fair, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed doesn't mean they have literally a sea of money. More importantly, the reason you're not supposed to say Caucasian is because of the Caucasian mountains. And if you say Caucasians, then you'll get into where Caucasians were actually sold because they were, quote unquote, pretty slaves. Human behavior is very twisted. That's why when we start talking about the transatlantic slave trade, I talk about, and I want to examine the attempt to domesticate another human. When we talk about the chattel slaves, which was in America,
New breed of slavery.
a different form of slavery, a different way of domesticating another person. Because when you see how intimate, especially in Dr. Stephanie Jones Rogers, they were her slaves too. I mean, they were her property. Mm-hmm. You see how the domestic sphere in America, which we get into, and I'm going to tie it to Meghan, you see how the domestic space also has its own economy. And the queen loses a lot of her credibility if she's seen to be racist. And that's why I see a lot of the media come out and ask the queen, like, okay, who was trained not to speak? How are we going to handle this? Racism.
Because again, that was the other thing too. It's like you expect to join an institution that's older than some of the buildings that you're walking into, that's older than the country that you're coming from. You're entering into this institution, and then she tells Oprah, and she compares herself to like Ariel from The Little Mermaid and talks about how she lost her voice and now she's trying to regain her voice. My thing was, you're an actor. I'm sure you have awareness of non-disclosure agreements. Anybody in politics in America that's anywhere near close to it understands that once you become part of an administration, you lose a lot of components of your voice to the hierarchy of the institution. Same way that the president, same way that a lot of different elected officials cannot say what they want.
It's the same thing in civil service. Mm-hmm. And that's why I go, It's like a lot of people think that when you lose your voice, it's because you have a high salary. And being inside of the Beltway and growing up in the Beltway, I have a new appreciation for those who dedicate themselves to civil service, those who are not native Washingtonians, because I moved away from nativism to localism. It's like you don't have to be born here as much as you care about what goes on here and who lives here or who wants to live here. You don't have to be born here, as in you're not entitled to be here, because I'm not upset that there are some Washingtonians leaving. But if you are here, please respect the history of those who have been here and who have fought when this city was going through austerity, although now we're in prosperity. And I say that to say is that inclusionary zoning needs to work. And I also say that to say, I have met a lot of people who are non-Black, who understands the weight of poverty on people's mind and psychology, and have dedicated themselves and lost their voice to a principle and only make $70,000 a year, although they have $300,000 a year salary, talent, civic tech. So I see what you're saying about losing your voice and the weight of it. I want to give it more weight and to say when you lose your voice, you really have dedicated your mind to something bigger than you. And it's not always because it's a check at the end of it. Sometimes it's because there's just a principle of what you believe in. You're willing to forego your own voice to serve someone else.
And in this case, it was marriage. So when you marry into a family of such magnitude, this is again the instance of being a girl, because now you're comparing yourself to a Disney character. But this is real life. These are people who these are people who will Epstein you.
So you say she's infatuating herself by comparing herself to a Disney character.
That, and on top of absolving accountability to the extent that, man, you should know and understand. Again, the highest people in the land also mute themselves. You're not in a
Michelle Obama said it too.
You're not in a position to be able to push back on that because you're just marrying in as an outsider. So, because again, even if you're in the family, like born into it, it's still hierarchy. Like Prince Harry said it. Oprah had asked him, and he went on to talk about how, he has to wipe his tears and get back into the groove because this is what the family is about. This is how you play ball. Again, even being born into the family, you understand that there is a hierarchy and you may not even get to speak. So why a person entering you are going to have leeway to just talk like you're some celebrity in America. This isn't America. And so that's what I mean by you're approaching this situation and you're absolving all accountability on your end. And then you have Prince Harry, who's again being touted as this hero when, sir, you wore a Nazi costume.
He did wear a Nazi costume.
Do not sit here and tell me that you did not know what your family was about. And the fact that he made a point to not disclose certain things, let me know that you understand what protecting the crown means. And you've been trained in it, sir. Because if you all took the time to come on Oprah and do this whole little interview, you absolutely can tell us who had that conversation. And one more thing to the Black community who was so outraged, and the fake Oprah who was so outraged that, oh my God, somebody asked about the color of the baby. Let's stop acting like Black African American families don't be in this junk checking nail beds and behind the ears of babies and talking about, oh, I can't mess with you, Devon, have a baby with you because your hair has an off texture. I don't want that. Well, let's not.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
We don't.
Wait a minute. I was Googling something for a second. Are you talking about colorism?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No.
Wait a minute.
No. Because colorism, what people don't want to acknowledge is she used colorism to get into it and then was upset because she began to understand that she couldn't overcome it. Because if she would have ever played up her Blackness on the outside of that, the royal family would have never tried that experiment. And let's cut it out and act like we not going to
this is some deal white people shit. This is some, wait a minute.
You telling me I'm Black and I'm proud getting into the royal family? You telling me you joined AKA versus the white sorority? You in?
Please name the sorority.
I'm about to go into it.
Damn, I'm Googling. While he Googling it, look here, y'all. I was Googling this because I was thinking about when I went to get this bomb-ass sandwich from Baltimore. It was delicious. Listening to the podcast to read.
Kappa Gamma.
Wait a minute, before you talk about Kappa Gamma, I'm gonna give another fellow podcasters that got me into when the host Crystal West was talking about Ocdroon and Quadroon. I was like, ooh, I haven't heard that since I looked at my research about the census in America with her co-host Kid Fury. But you coming with the colorism and saying that Black people also participate in colorism, ooh, you done hit my soul. Oh, wait a minute. God damn it. Slow down.
Because again, it's a thing.
Slow down.
It's a thing.
Wait, tie that shit into negative.
Because colorism, this is how it works. Because again, prior to and leading up, articles were reported that she made a point to, and the reason I call her biracial is because that's how she said that she was willing to identify. So she never wanted to be Black.
So Meghan, so this is that Tiger Woods conversation. This is that Mariah.
I'm blazing.
This is that Mariah Carey mulatto conversation. What do y'all think about the rapper mulatto then saying that? So here's my thing. The rapper
mulatto saying what?
No, using the name mulatto because it's not
about racial, ain't she?
Yeah, but no, this isn't about mulatto the artist. This is about racism selling.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mentioned Kate Chopin before and Desiree's Baby. We also have, what's his name? William Faulkner. I don't know what the short story he wrote. Only reason my title William Faulkner is because Toni Morrison did her dissertation on William Faulkner. That's why I love, I don't like Toni Morrison's fiction, but I love her academic work. Whew. I love a clear mind. But anyway, my point is, you are making the jump from, oh, the royal family ain't the only ones that's doing this. Not only white people participate in this, we have Black people that participate in this. And
we got called on all sides.
No,
Black people gotta get the same because I give it to white people, I give it to everybody.
Holy shit.
Because they uphold it. Because guess what? White people don't look. White people, the Black people who just be kissing y'all tails and cozy in y'all up, they not ready. They don't like y'all.
Then are we already over here? I don't watch the Nigga Field League. That's funny.
Because again, all of it is about placating to a persona that you think is going to make them feel comfortable, but they aren't your true allies in the sense that they're going to tell you about your blind spots because they're afraid to offend you. Meghan Markle played up her ambiguity to the extent that I believe that the royal family was just like, all right, cool. If she, like, again, this America. Oh, she wasn't going to play the game. She wasn't going to play ball. We're going to see.
But okay, because it's bringing it back in, because we all talking about Meghan Markle. That shit just went boom. Like, I want to mention.
Because again,
I want to mention and read and give big ups to them because that's, again, coming back from where I was going, I was listening to it, and that's how I was introduced to the story because I didn't follow it. I'm really watching how we're gonna deal with this trade deficit. If we really in America want to put America first, that means that people will have to pay the price for American products.
Mm-hmm.
Supply chains matter. That sounds capitalist until you understand what trade really is. As I was saying before I get called a black Reddit boy on the interwebs. Oh, black Reddit boy, BRP. I might use that.
Reddit?
Yeah, Reddit. RED.
Oh, Reddit.
Yeah, I call
The shit that the shit that brought down Robin Hood.
Yes. That's just funny. But BRB, we might turn that into a shirt, black Reddit boy.
We got a lot of shit we gonna turn into shirts coming up.
Just to be contrarian about it. Just like, you know what? Like Kanye wearing the mega hat. Just like, I just want to fuck with people at this point because nothing matters.
Hey Quan, go ahead. What was you about to say?
I was just about to say, like, and encapsulate this whole point. Bridgerton was quite honest because I give another pop culture tie. It's quite honest at how in the marriage plot that you see with George Eliot, because we didn't just hop on the marriage plot. We've been here. George Eliot talks about what it really is to be inside of these affluent marriages, and as I am to be responsible as Quincy Q, I am constantly questioning why a lot of Black Americans seek to make Black excellence a very Victorian ideal, which is to say you have the angel of the household, someone who manages the household. You have a man that goes out into the world to acquire material wealth, and they just live like Queen Victoria, happily ever after until her husband dies. But when we come to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, as well as in Bridgerton, you see the Duke's father is a quite honest expectation in the standards of the social class that Meghan Markle is married into, if I'm hearing you correctly. Like Meghan Markle should have expected these harsh rules placed upon her because of what people expect from nobles. Then in general. So then my question becomes to the average person, what are you asking of your leaders that people must change themselves into such a way that you're willing to believe in them because you believe that they are exceptional? Because I question exceptionalism because it seems like it's a treadmill. You don't ever get off. It's like you're only exceptional after you die.
That's it. And you get to live on forever, as the Greeks say.
I'm not Achilles. I am Diogenes. I am not Achilles. I am El Perro of Congress Heights. But I'm from behind the podium. Would you want this?
What you think about Quan?
For me, some of the things that I looked at when I looked at that interview, it was interesting because she got into like a lot of the mental health and a lot of the, what she went through, how the tabloids sort of dragged her through her family. And one of the things that kind of struck me on a personal note, it's like, me being somewhat biracial myself, it's like, yo, why do all of us have issues with our immigrant fathers? But that's what that's what it's
Yeah, no.
Jamaican and African American.
Yes, that's biracial.
If you want to call it
ethnic.
No, biracial. Think of
they still fall under the same race.
No.
I mean,
their race is Black.
No, think of it this way, because that's thinking in the Western imagination. You've made yourself white in that sense.
No, I know.
Literally think of it as, because I saw this in the Cecile Amike's strolling series. Race is cultural. There's no biological explanation for it. So when you say biracial, you're really saying I am from two different systems of thought.
Yeah.
Two different traditions.
But for the audience and to help people understand how nonsensical race really is, because when you say biracial, race are 3 buckets. And 4, if you want to be technical, you got Black, white, Hispanic, Asian.
But those are phenotypes.
But that's race. That is the way that we interact and engage with race. And the reason that I'm saying that is because if you can show people how ludicrous race is, I understand what he's saying, but in the way the world works now, that will be identified as by ethnic.
I get what you're saying, like when they're saying black POCs, but for the sake of how it actually plays out in the identities, because I know people who are quote unquote what some consider ADOS and Trinidadian. That biracial, when you say that biracial, it matters because of how race actually plays out economically. Because it shocked me when I was having a conversation with someone, it was like, I consider African boys brown. It's like that makes sense because this is why ADOS, because I follow the ADOS movement, Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore, and I don't know the deeper level to it. I follow and I'm just like, okay, I'm seeing the new development and how the Niagara movement is moving forward. Because that's what I feel Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore are doing. They're taking the Niagara movement and saying, we need not only to be economically enfranchised, we need to be socially enfranchised as well by America acknowledging what it has done to this group of people, American descendants of slavery. But when you take the ADOS and you take the Jamaican part, because this is where we need to talk about slavery in more depth, Jamaica was done by the British. And so the British slave owners never lived on the Jamaican islands because it was still the fucking Caribbean. It was hot, it was muggy, a whole lot of different things. So what I'm saying is that
that's one of the biggest differences from America to Jamaica.
The biggest thing. So when you think about it, also think about epigenetics and how the different survival systems happen. I don't want to make this a biological essentialism argument. For those who don't speak that way, is like what I mean is I don't want to make it about our DNA versus nature versus nurture. I want to make it nature and nurture. So when we think about race, we have to think about where did this system of thought come from? Who had this system of thought in what time? So for the audience, I would love for them to hear how Quan is articulating biracial and how he understands biracial, because a lot of people think that way.
No, I agree. And my angle is, I want race gone. I want the disaggregation. No, because this is the thing. I want the disaggregation of race across the board. I'm perfectly fine with bi-ethnic or bi-cultural. But I want to point out that when we say biracial, in the proper context of how people not just engage with it, because you have people who do understand what he's saying, but will weaponize on the back end of that, the actual racial portion, i.e. Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like always an issue with not the African American side, but the actual whoever the immigrant of the parent is. That's where the issue lies.
Welcome to American Xenophobe.
Oh, they got us because we was talking about the Royals.
Yeah, they got
This is for rock.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I don't know. They're like, cut the feed, cut the shit.
But like literally, Krista just texted and was like, they can't refresh it.
No. That's what the call was for me as well. I was like, keep the shit rolling. Instagram guys.
Hey, we still live though.
This is great material
We
for
still live
being
on IG.
dungeon.
We still live on IG. But
Okay.
As far as for me, what I got from it was even though in all her naivety, you know, it's easy to dump on her. It's easy to really just go in because she's a, you know, that was just a bad decision. But I think it does lead for a larger discussion of how we as a people go into predominantly white institutions that have long underserved and undermined our communities.
We been live.
We back?
Yeah, we back.
Okay.
Yeah, baby.
It does lead to a larger discussion about how we, in fact, as workers or as people who contribute to a society, we work against our own interests all the time. So it's like when Meghan Markle does it, it's like, yeah, we can point at her and laugh. But at the end of the day, when you look at yourself and what you do for work, what make you that much different than Meghan Markle?
You know what? I'm glad you brought up that point because that was still recording, wasn't it? When he gave his conversation. Because that means y'all gotta go to the site to see what we was actually chopping up about when it dropped off. Blame YouTube. Blame the two of you for doing that and supporting us so bad.
The two of you.
The two of you. I stole that from Freckles. The two of you. So go to thegildedsages.com and support us, subscribe. We ain't gonna sell you information. Don't nobody want information from niggas. As I was saying,
we against surveillance capitalism.
Oh yeah, I hate that. I'd rather for us to have symposiums and us to have nice parties than to have nice things. And these people, and anyone who knows me, knows I'm telling the truth. I get what you were saying. I'm glad you said that, Quan, because people do have to reconcile with the immigrant parent. People do have to reconcile with them. No, they do. They have to reconcile with xenophobia in America. And the problem I have with xenophobia in America is that they think that it started with people of color. It didn't. When we go to Thomas Nast, and we can look at Thomas Nast and how he depicted the Irish and Black people. So America, and who was a German immigrant himself, America is a nation of people who were some affluent in Europe, who saw new opportunity, but mostly poor. Mostly poor, largely poor. And when you understand America on that standpoint, then you begin to understand that when you are an immigrant to America, and this is where I'm standing behind my podium. You ready? Oh, as a native Washingtonian, don't understand why our education system is ass. Because we literally have everybody come to us. Washington decides the rules of how New York makes money. Everyone who goes to DCPS to be like, you know what, son? I'm bored of being in DC because I'm tired of engaging people. We should be traveling the world because,
but like you said, it's the communists versus the elite.
I know it's the communists versus the elite, but the elite need to listen to their own elite. And Bill Gates talking about how we need to get the vaccinations to poor countries because what? Nature don't care about our biases. If the coronavirus is out there, it's there. They talk about the British variant right now with Meghan Markle in Germany, but the South African variant has been shown to be more aggressive. A virus that has more people to mutate within has more, we want to get cut again, but it has more time to be more skillful in surviving and tying that in, cats in the reel, to the German family that is known as the royal family that are actually English, because Piers Morgan, The Crown, shows that, reeling it all in, we can see that when an idea morphs, people begin to thwart themselves into this image. And the fact that we can't accept people as they are and as they present is a huge problem because identity politics allows for a lot of people to hide. It's like if we as a general populace sit down and go, like, I don't give a shit who you like, because guess what I know about liking people? Woo! Just because someone's attracted to you don't mean they're gonna treat you well. Oh, I hate that shit.
Moving on to our next point.
I'm sorry, I was long-winded.
No, you have a point. because what happens is again, she thought she was attractive enough. But let's talk about Harry though.
Ooh, he moving on.
Because
Take a drink.
I know. I'm mad I didn't drink or anything.
he was asked to talk about who actually had the conversation about the baby's complexion, right?
That's what he said.
He also was asked, would he enter back into the family? And like I said, the man is the UK version of Joe Biden.
Wait a minute!
Hey,
UK version of Joe Biden.
It's funny too.
No. You know why?
And I say that because you want to know why? Because these act like they progressive to placate and get all the minorities all riled up like, oh, savior, Uncle Joe, Prince Harry, oh my God, you gave her a voice back. But guess what? That nigga said, yeah, I would be right back in that goddamn family. Racism it up. Wearing my Hitler costume. Because he is also a part of it. So, no, I don't feel sorry for either of them. Because you knew this man was racist. You knew his family was racist. He knew his family was racist. He with it. And then he gonna throw his whole family under the bus.
He did. But you know what's so sad about
With a cootie cat.
You know what's so bad about me? I literally have a lecture in my head. I
Get a
can't
lecture.
No, I can't remember the professor. I'm gonna do it in post. It's gonna be in part of the post production. But a white woman professor talking about like the white people still racist even after they love you. It was like
He said that.
even after they love you, they still it's like, and I literally downstairs, you know, the book I have, White Kids, is like, this is where I really want people to understand. It's like sometimes white people are racist without malice. It's like you really have to
just don't know.
Like they just don't know that they did something racist, and you gotta give them room for that. It's like I don't know if it was racist.
And you can't be a black person and be like, oh no, it didn't. No, look. Again,
Like
you don't gotta go super ham. This the rule. If y'all want solutions and consensus,
we gotta. I'm gonna challenge that rule.
That's cool.
I got you.
2 times. The 3rd time, you know what you're doing.
I agree. I freaking flapping agree. The first time may have been unintentional, but if it's the second time,
I'm explaining it to you.
I clarified, and then when you do it the 3rd time, it's like, oh, you meant to hurt me.
Yeah.
Got you. But if we're gonna because I am a student of Kant, Immanuel Kant, in a category imperative, meaning if you make a rule, then you can't break the rule yourself. That basically means is that we're going to use that universally, as in no matter who you are, and it's so easy for me because I am partly a misanthrope. I don't give a hell who you are.
Also, black people, we got room for them too. Because people who keep absorbing it, after so many times, you ain't against patriarchy. Bloomberg threw that money on the street and all y'all was running like little flues.
Oh my God.
Oh.
He made it rain.
He made it rain. Baby, don't believe me. I'm sorry. What? They started it. I'm just here.
I'm just saying. No, look. Everybody know I got beef with patriarchy. They can see me whenever, wherever, however.
You're not the only one.
Bring Joe Biden to me. Elevate me, please, so I can have these discussions a lot. Look, I just want smoke at high levels.
Shit. You know what I want? You know what they say as a good ally? Let's say that they pay us as black men. Guess the hell I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to have Letitia James, Shelana Sanders. Yes. I'm going to have a whole panel of goddamn black women.
Yvette Carnell,
Yvette Carnell, Hilda Jackson. I'm going to sit in the crowd eating popcorn. Like, yeah, we gave them big ass shakes.
Look, we going to be toxic masculinity, sit in the background. So let a Joe Biden act out of line. Toxic masculinity.
We get 5 figures. Like, you seriously? No, pay us. So I'm gonna give a whole bunch of black professors. We need Professor Nina Banks there too. I'm just gonna sit there. What do black women want? Niggas to sit down and shut the fuck up and listen. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna shut the fuck up and I'm gonna listen.
Hell yeah.
because they saying some real shit.
You just gonna have to embrace the toxic masculinity in case anybody cuts you off. I'm sorry. We not holding the corn. Cause guess what the royal family do?
Off with your head.
That shit is funny.
4 words. No, we gonna change it to 1 word. Epstein them. Because we not going to act like the royal family didn't do that either, and that he wasn't attached to that either.
You talking about Prince Andrew? They trying to protect him?
Yeah. And how they had to hide him in the basement like they hid Joe.
Uh-oh.
Because he couldn't talk.
Hey, you know he was hiding from Corona. Come on.
Was it Corona? Or was it corruption?
He going for Hunter. He going
Because
for
again,
Hunter.
a lot of people like to throw that racism word out. I ain't gonna come back to the US because I had issue with the whole tar weed. We covered that as well. I had issue with a lot of the stuff that they covered up for Joe Biden during the primaries to get him across the finish line. But we gonna stay on the road.
Man, you know what? Just to end it nice.
End it nice.
No, I'm not just talking about that discussion,
No, I
that
got
part. I'm just like, look here. I don't say black girl magic. I say black woman empowerment. Because they ain't magic and they ain't girls. It's hard work, it's dedication,
But you want to fight women on that.
and being mature. Hell no. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to empower the women who will sit there and say, you immature men like immature women. And as a mature man, I'm like, you're damn right they do.
This is true.
So I'm going to empower and give my energy again. I'm dead ass serious. Y'all give me money. I like lectures. I'm going to spend all my money on listening to the women I just named because I want to hear what the hell they got to say. Empower my mind. Shit, you fuel my soul. Well, we got something special going on in the chat.
I was looking at the chat. I was about to say, can you drop the link? I'm gonna give people a chance to
Talk shit to us.
talk shit.
Okay, yeah, the link is already in the Facebook joint.
It is. Okay, can you drop it in the
I'm having a good damn time.
No, this one I told you was no conversational, man. Because in the end, it was just a bunch of malarkey and a bunch of foolery. People that have forgotten, like, we don't like Oprah. Like,
We don't like Oprah. You sound like Paul Mooney. He get in trouble too.
this, Oprah, we know you. We know who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking?
Because again, she also placates to patriarchy.
So you talking about from the angle of what's my girl name? What's my grown ass woman name? The queen of comedy. What's her name?
Monique. Yeah, they threw her under the bus.
Under the bus.
Boom, boom. For the white male facts.
Ooh, you about to get us banned from life,
Man.
Whole firing squad. Like I don't
I'm just saying.
Injection.
Cause no, she threw a lot of shade at what's the boy name?
Who is she?
Oprah.
Okay.
What's Rock This Way, Adidas, Rev Run?
Russell Simmons.
Threw a lot of shade his way, threw a lot of, the anti, toxic masculinity stuff when it came down to old boy Harvey Weinstein and their whole crew, Jeffrey Epstein. Ain't nobody say nothing.
Nothing.
Prince Andrews, you gotta go Prince
But
Andrews.
they threw Monique under the P6. And you know that's the tour of DC.
Where was the black girl magic?
That's the tour of DC.
We are getting rid of black girl magic as black woman empowerment.
I'm just saying, black woman empowerment, where was it? Where was it? Because Monique had a case. And that ties again. The whole colorism thing and people using it. I'm not saying everybody who light skin or everybody who has that advantage uses it in a manipulative, malicious way, but
This is true.
there are people who do. And we're not going to act like as a community that we don't have people who pattern match and who pair with people to be able to do so.
But that's when we get into endogaming practices. ENDOGAMY. Spelling. I don't know how to spell that well, but people marrying within class, and that's when you get into Creole culture, you get into different things about certain families. But the colorism element within Black America is a very important thing to talk about because it's not only colorism that gets you passed, it's also how you speak. Because I have a whole joke that I use, because I'm a nerd. We all know I'm a nerd. I always say my parole of a long kept me on parole. And long is French for language, but it's a nice way of saying my control over language kept me from being arrested.
I would agree.
It's like what people don't understand about that is what I love what James Baldwin talks about. People treat you like you're an exotic survivor. It's like, look, I've seen more death than I've seen celebrations. I have literally seen people dress to go to a candlelight visual better than they would be dressed to go to a community meeting. And I am not lying. So when I'm about to drop a novel with my Biden bucks. I love you, Biden. That shit is funny. Hey, I like you, Sleepy Joe.
They got to stop the memes. The memes is terrible.
I don't know the memes.
Making Jesus Christ references to Joe, but man, they got to stop that shit.
You know, people want to take it too far.
Moses went up the mountain. By the time he came back with a gold calf. Like, I don't take the shit personal no more. But my whole point with the shit is that I don't think folks are sitting down and truly grasping what they're holding on to instead of believing in themselves. It's like at this moment in time, we're being sold so many half-truths, untruths, that it becomes more important to be patient and to deal with uncertainty and deal with your own doubt and skepticism. Because yes, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry shows that although we thought we were in a post-race age, you can't excuse the wisdom of Michelle Obama to FLOTUS, and especially in Black America, forever the FLOTUS. We are not in post-racial America, and you cannot go all script. Because Michelle Obama said out her own mouth that you just cannot speak with your own thoughts when you get to a certain level. I'm paraphrasing. But the sentiment was that you can't speak. And that's what I want people to understand. It's like when you chasing white approval, when you chase that white menagerie to think that I'm going to get a certain amount of money and then no one can fuck with me. It's like, that's not America, baby. Mm-hmm. Especially when you
like that money, everybody can fuck.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. But what's most important is that I want the African diaspora to look and go, what they did to escape poverty and the pain of poverty, I'm not willing to do because we can see it's already consuming the earth. I don't have to be angry with white people because it's like your own maliciousness and your own willingness to stop and see how you are consuming is going to raise the climate to a point where you can't live anywhere. So that's where I'm at with it. It's like, y'all do what y'all do.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I didn't really know that it was even going on. I so happened to see it on Twitter. It was like, ooh, interesting. They about to trash the fucking royal house. But what I feared was what happened is that it would be this milquetoast kind of surface level. Like, son, we already know they're racist. Like, what do you expect? You enter in a family of the KKK times 10. So I think you should expect them to have certain reservations about you. Like, again, if I enter a certain family as a Black male looking how I look, even if I enter a certain African continental.
Oh, you're talking about a contact? Oh.
That is a thing. So it's like me as an African American with African American lineage. A lot of people look down on us. Nobody wants to really have a conversation. Again, I understand why certain people have their reservations because of the propaganda from not only this family, but the nation that we live in. But let's have a conversation. Can we please stop? Oh, yes, it was such a great Disney story. It was a prince. He loved her. He went against his family for her, and they're so happily ever after, and they're running on a run, Bonnie and Clyde. Oh my God, it's so amazing. I want that love. No. That's not how it happens. Because first off, those are extreme anomalies. Again, like I said, this man 40 million in his pocket. They got 40 million, not from the Netflix deals and none of that. That's trust money. That's 40 million I just got bang bang. If you want to be regular, y'all ain't young wallflowers. Y'all can leave that 40 million out. You really want to just be an average person. But if you really want to be an average person, you can get you a nice little job, mask it up. You don't want nothing to do with the royal family. But again, Oprah asked her. So you just want services for Archie. Yeah, you don't really have an issue. She didn't really have an issue with the overall institution. Her issue was really, I don't like how y'all treating me.
Yeah.
Not, y'all motherfuckers is wow. What y'all got going over here is just crazy. The sentiment of the interview was, I don't like how they treated me.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Prince Harry didn't really speak to anything. She navigated the conversation more so than he did, because anytime he started to overstep and speak too much, bring it back.
So, like Michelle Obama told Obama to move his ass.
Yeah,
I got you. Oh, you over there comment. I wonder what you're saying.
But no, that's absolutely correct. Because even when the question arose as to whether or not she wanted the child to still be able to become
Archie.
like Prince or eventually a king, she's with it. She wants them to have those birthrights. And she's willing to fight for those things. So it's not even a thing of like, I want to, make this better. It's like, no, I want my kid to still be able to one day be Prince and one day be king and all
take
that.
the reign.
So it's like,
That's dope, son.
it's all about how she's being treated in tabloid culture for real. Because that's what's really driving her insane as far as her mental and all of those things, is how everything's being played out. Where what's the other son and his wife?
You talking Prince William and Kate Middleton?
So they're playing Kate Middleton against Meghan Markle and making her seem like she's unfit in order to build up Middleton as the one who has the, what do they call that? She has the cachet and the temperament.
Gotcha. That's why I was asking the question earlier when we were talking about Girl, and they were saying that in the cult of domesticity, that Kate Middleton shows that she's pious, she's submissive, she's domestic. She basically
affluent.
She shows that, but she was also called Weighty Katie. But she was called Weighty Katie. But you're basically
also part of being affluent.
Yeah.
Nobody want to have that conversation.
Look, I know affluent people, y'all gonna leave me alone. Because that life is not as easy as people make it out to be. But to your point, Quan, is that they're using Kate Middleton and saying this is who Meghan Markle should aspire to be. So Kate Middleton in this case is the woman and the wife, and Meghan Markle, if I'm understanding you correctly, is the girl and the bad influence.
Yeah, and I do you one better. Kate Middleton is the queen that we want, and Meghan Markle is
the queen we don't.
I don't like the word euphemisms. The world likes his euphemisms and entendres, but I prefer that in fiction where we tell the truth that no one sees.
All right, we about to get one.
Is anyone? Oh, Jordan Woodward.
He's connected. What's good, fam? Tell us your name and tell us where you're at, and then give us your beat.
Oh, this is on the Zoom?
Yeah,
this is Jordan. What's going on, Sing?
What it do?
How you doing? In Virginia. I was actually waiting for this topic. When I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to tune into this because I feel like you're going to share some of the same sentiments that I felt about it, and you pretty much hit everything on the nail. And what quite saddened me about the whole ordeal was, especially from the beginning, it just bothers me how that colorism topic you talked about. We hate ourselves so much that we're going to try to find acceptance by joining other cultures. Other cultures are like prestige, just so that way we could feel like we're something. And in the meantime, they could drop us in the heart and at the what's that saying? In the blink of an eye, pretty much.
Let me
They could
ask you
drop
this
us.
though. Let me ask you this though. Do you think it's hate, or do you think it's how people have been programmed to survive and do anything by any means to get to the bag?
By any means.
Yeah, do you think that's out of a malicious space, or do you think that's out of a nurturing space in terms of how our elders have guided us and how society currently moves us in a particular direction when it comes to obtaining a particular lifestyle?
Ooh.
Well, that's a good one. Well, they kind of direct where prestige, where wealthiness lies, and that's where people try to go. They try any method necessary to get there. And her ingratiating herself into that family, she thinks that she'll be set for life. My gripe with all of it is, if you know that a house is, I put this on the Instagram too, if you know that house is burning and you go inside and you know you could potentially get burned, you cannot get mad if you see burns on your whole body. You can't.
No, it's funny because Martin Luther King used that motif himself, that metaphor, as he was sending people in the burning house after the civil rights. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King came to understand that it was an economic problem, and that it wasn't just a
Social integration.
Social integration, and not only was it not just social integration, it wasn't, to your point, a race issue. It was more of an economic issue. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jordan, but go ahead.
Oh no, it all lies within the same thing, all falls into the same realm. And I felt like it was just a money opportunity or some screen time for them. And he could turn his back on his family if he wants to. They'll still choose him over her any day, anytime. And they could demote her. And there's really nothing that she'll be able to do about it, because he's going to choose his family over her. He's not giving up the lifestyle, the prestige that he has. He can find somebody else that will fit right in line with what's going on. The regime that they've had, that's been going on for centuries. You think that that's going to stop because one person comes in of a different kind? No. And it just made me sick how people kind of just fell in line with everything. They gave him that white savior complex. Like, oh, look at her, look at him sticking up for her and everything. Like that knight in shining armor saving the damsel in distress type of thing. The worst part, it was a biracial woman, an African American partial woman. It made me sad. It infuriated me also, because it's like we're wanting people of paler color to come to our rescue again.
So you're saying that basically he played the chivalrous knight?
Yes.
Okay, I get you. With that though,
very badly, because he didn't really take the blow.
But let's be honest, man. It's like, I know people right now have a real trouble relationship with Piers Morgan, because Piers Morgan, who spoke on Meghan Markle, again, I kind of don't care. He's a Tory. Piers Morgan spoke on Meghan Markle, right? But Piers Morgan also brought The Crown to Netflix as a way to talk about the royal family. And if you watch The Crown, I'm a huge fan because I like period pieces. If you watch The Crown, to your point about Meghan Markle not knowing, it's like, how do you not know when we literally have a huge Netflix series that's years old, showing how the royal family butchers itself?
Oh, I have a question too, though. For Jordan. Do you think that there's a difference between what Meghan Markle is going through with the royal family and say maybe someone going into a corporation that has the same type of history of exploitation and being met with similar outcomes?
Good. No, honestly, no. I mean, if she's doing it for survival, I mean, I understand you're trying to get what you need by any means necessary, but do not be surprised when the outcome doesn't fall in your favor. Like, we all make choices. We all see signs of things that are to come. It's up to us to determine whether we take heed to them or not. And I think with her, she's trying to play the race card in her favor with being biracial to try to gain that sympathy when she's not even caring about she doesn't care about what the family's done in the past. All she's caring about is herself and her son. And I don't want her to be surprised if he sticks up for his family when all this is said and done. I feel like that's where it's going to go. I didn't even really watch the whole interview, but I didn't even need to watch the interview because I've seen things like this happen all the time. It's like when people don't realize whom they married or what the family that they're married to, they don't do their research, and then they're surprised when they find out their whole family's crazy. No, you did not do your research. You didn't make the necessary. You take the necessary steps to make sure that you went into the right type of family. It's all about the choices that we make.
Yeah, because I say that because one of the things that I see in a lot of what people look at with this situation, a lot of people look to be a savior. Like, they look at Meghan Markle going in, and maybe you have this traditionally racist family, and she's going to be the one to bring this to task. And it's like everybody who gets into these situations think that their singular self is going to make such an impact that they're going to change the culture of a lot of these different things. And it's like, no, the same person that goes in for a corporation job, you're not going to change anything within that system that's been there hundreds of years before you. And the situation with Meghan Markle is the same thing that I see with a lot of people that get into corporate jobs, they get into politics, they get into business, they get into all of these jobs, bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, thinking that, oh my God, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be the next this, I'm going to be the next that. And it's like, no. And then it hits you, and it's like, oh my God, all of these things are here. And it's like, yeah, what do you think this is? What do you think you signed up for?
It's been there for years.
This is how I know I'm a political nerd, right? You said all that, right, Quan?
Yeah.
And you said all that, right, Jordan? Guess who came to my mind? Can y'all guess who came to my mind? Woodrow Wilson, The 14 Leagues of Nations. So Meghan Markle was like Woodrow Wilson, post World War I, who thought the 14 Leagues of Nations would stop the world from ever having another war. That's why the First World War was called the Great War. So you basically what I'm hearing is that Meghan Markle thought she was the UN. She thought that she could stop shit from happening because she was so powerful symbolically. Yeah, because the UN don't stop anything.
Yeah,
and not so much.
Black girl magic was going to cure.
I don't speak black girl magic. I speak black woman empowerment.
But
she thought black girl magic would change things when she doesn't realize she's part of the final act. That she's gonna be gone. There's gonna be a point where push comes to shove and he's going to choose. And I will be surprised if he chooses her.
I ain't gonna lie. That would be awesome, but I ain't gonna lie, I would be shocked. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. We definitely, appreciate you, fam, for calling in. Next time, Cam.
No problem. I had to get that off my chest because I've been thinking about this all week, and I've been getting a whole lot of different opinions. And I try to be very careful as a Black man not to say things or terms that can result in colorism or being
Talk
against
really
women
careful,
because
bro.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
try
we do
hard.
this. Because
I
in
try
the
very
end,
hard.
nothing about these conversations are careful. You can have tact, don't mind, like of course, and not being disrespectful, like bluntly, but we have to get past the point of people just being overly sensitive. You know me, I say what I say, and I never disrespect anybody in none of the spaces that I move in. I'm just gonna say what I say. If you feel fake offended, because everybody knows I butcher and mute myself to that extent, because if you got the raw form of me, I know you niggas can.
Oh, I'm very cognizant of how you move. I mean, I know you forget, but I know that other people may not be, and also other people may not be aware of how I move or what I say. So
about that, fam. You just gotta go ahead, keep pushing, keep moving. If people want to cash you in a particular way, they're gonna cash you in a particular way.
Keep speaking
It
truth to
is
power.
what it is. We love you. Next time we have a show, please do call in. And if anybody else wants to, before we end out, definitely feel free. But much love, fam. Thank you, definitely.
Appreciate you. Going back to the audience.
Absolutely. So that's the fam. We went to school together.
That was a great discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So again, man, we just wanted to have like a quick conversation, and people been talking about it. I'm like, man, y'all surprised with this shit?
I know, right?
The fuck, how? Like, what you mean? And again, I ain't even saying throw Meghan Markle out. I'm just saying, like, sis, come on, you ain't know this shit. You got up your game, boo boo.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Cause again, I don't be intervening, like he said, because when you try to protect motherfuckers, they I don't need it. Okay, fine. But I'm gonna need you to be accountable. So when Oprah asks you, if you know, you need to be like, yeah, I did my research, boom, 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 boom. I just be honest and say I thought I could change the world. I'm fine with that. I think I could change the world. Niggas probably look at me like, nigga, you crazy.
That's that knowledge broccoli.
But be honest with that. But in her not saying that, I think it's more other of just like, nah, you thought you was gonna pass, and they was like, oh no, we might have enslaved one of our fucking people. These goddamn,
You know what I mean?
these goddamn N-words up in the palace.
Stop talking about the Welsh. Like, oh.
I'm just saying, man, you know how people be. We gotta stop acting like this stuff is surprising and shocking.
Yeah.
But man, if you still, all right, we got another caller.
Who's another caller?
Christian.
Oh.
Tell us where you're from and tell us your thoughts. Let us know. Yellow. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
absolutely can.
Hello. So I just had to give a call in real quick. Let me turn my TV off because it's giving me echoes. But yes, I had to call in because I just wanted to put in my little 2 cents on this whole matter of the colorism. About the colorism that Q brought up earlier, because I just think it was so ironic because on Twitter, one of the things that I saw was talking about the exact same comment that Q mentioned earlier about how we have colorism in our own communities. We're still checking behind the ear to see what the baby's going to be, blah, blah, blah. I put in in the chat the song by Danny Lay, the Yellow Bone song. I ain't listened to it yet, but and I don't think I ever will because I don't want to give any strings. But yeah, you know, I didn't watch the interview, but I've been following Meghan Markle's story, and you know, she should. Yes, I agree with all the points y'all said about how she should have known that what she was walking into, but I don't think she would have known that the quote unquote the firm would literally be backing these tabloid people like talking about her incessantly, like following her, I don't think she would have known that. Cause I mean, even I didn't know there was something called The Firm, like for they had like press parties and the royals hobnob with the press and just, you know, the same people that were talking shit about her, literally they're like hobnobbing with them. I don't think she knew that. But I mean, you know, she knows now, and you know, hindsight is 2020. But you know, just
can I ask you a question?
yes.
So as it pertains to the firm, I can definitely understand that as being another institution, but coming from America, would you not, I would say, put yourself in a mind frame, because we also have targeted media and media that is influenced by the political infrastructure to get the outcomes that say one side, whether it be Democrat or Republican, conservative, left, or whatever you want to call it, use as mechanisms and channels to get their values, as well as people who oppose them, platformed. So do you not think that like having that awareness, or like having a certain level of awareness, even as an American citizen, and how closely tied to the UK that is, that they would do in somewhat same measures?
I don't think that, you know, well, Meghan's coming from a more Hollywood standpoint, you know, and Hollywood they have the tabloids, and, you know, they have the rags, the gossip rags, and, you know, the gossip like websites, but I don't think it'd be that intrinsic here. And I don't think it's that intrinsic in America, at least in the Hollywood standard. I think, you know, definitely the political sphere, like, you know, one moment you're hobnobbing with Washington Post and they write a good story about you. Next moment, you know, they write like Cuomo, you know, he's getting dragged right now. So I just don't think on Meghan's behalf, I don't think the Hollywood media infrastructure would be that intrinsic like that, like they have it in the UK. Okay. So I think that was a little bit more of a shock for her. Like, you are literally letting these people talk about me, but you're not putting any stop to it, and you have the power to put a stop to it, because you're hobnobbing with these people. You have ties with these people, and you can control what they're writing about me, but yet and still you would rather continue letting them continue with this narrative. So that's what I feel like. It's different. I feel like that it's a little bit more nuanced than what she would have been exposed to as a Hollywood actress.
I got you. This is where I want to jump in. Thank you, Christian, for calling. Glad to have your opinion and your perspective on things, because that's very informative.
I would agree to that.
And I do agree with that, because this is what informs this question I'm about to ask. So, are you saying that Meghan Markle is getting more the Jackie Onassis treatment of is being so far intrusive into her life that she expected Prince Harry to use his institutional leverage and go like, look, you have some power to say what happens to your son Archie. You have some power in how they present me inside of the media. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yes, I definitely feel that, you know, Prince Harry, and I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm not saying that he didn't try, because he definitely, just from the clips I see, like, and you know, Oprah talked to Meghan first, and then, you know, Harry came back out from the clips that I saw. But I just feel that Harry tried to do as much as he could, but again, I feel like, you know, and Harry's always had a really weird, I don't know if, you know, if anyone else noticed this, but, you know, I noticed that Harry's always been kind of like the ostrich, like he's been ostracized from the family. Like, he doesn't really have the same ties to the family. So I don't think Harry has pull. I don't think he had pull at all. Like he said,
I don't either. His mother.
I don't think he had pull. Yeah, I don't think he had to pull. So, you know, he might have went up to bat. They might have had conversations, and he went up to bat for her. But at the end of the day, you know, Harry's been the black sheep of the family for forever. So I think that, you know, they had to make that decision of just cutting ties completely. Because, I mean, it's just the fact that they didn't even give the baby his own Secret Service, like at the bequest of, you know, Harry. Like, I know you don't, I know we as the parents are cutting ties, but you can't even give it to my son. Or, you know, that is just how deep I think the roots of how much they don't like, they didn't even like Harry to begin with. That's
but
yeah.
do you ever see it as it's bigger than just Harry, in the sense that it because their not only ideology but their brand is predicated, again, they are in large part the builders of what we know as race today. And so when you empower, if you say empower African Americans or Black people, that directly imposes your power, whether it be just a smidge of it. And I think it was interesting that you had brought up the fact that Meghan Markle, coming from a actress or Hollywood standpoint, played a role in maybe some of her illusion in terms of how she would interact with the royal family. Because, I think that's an overall American thing, because when you look abroad, celebrity is not a huge thing when we look in other nations. And so I think some of that cachet that she thought that she would have got diminished, because most Americans think that celebrity culture is like this global thing when it's not. And so I thought that was an interesting point that I actually do agree with, that may have played a role into her thinking that she could use her influence on Harry. Because I think part of that is, like you said, her not understanding, again, he is the black sheep because of the long history that not only he has, but the family as a whole has. Because he can compartmentalize it down to Harry, but even outside of his mother and everything that happened with
Princess Diana, let's give her a name.
Princess Diana, they even still have prior history to that goes against everything that she is in terms of her existence, in terms of if they had any say so in when the rules were and in their favor, and the optics as well, because now they have to kind of play up, quote unquote, and American institutions do the same thing in terms of how we get tokenized and playing up diversity and things of that nature. It's like we have to play that role, but we never really turned the corner. Like inside, we really feel the same, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I feel that, you know, the treatment of Meghan Markle, had Harry's long history, like, yes, I think that it would have been less of a jarring thing if she was half black. But if she was half black and like Prince Harry was actually like, okay, he was an upstanding young man, he was always good. But I think that the fact that he had a long, like, kind of like rough, rocky relationship with his family, and the fact that he decided to marry this half black woman from America, I think that, you know, that also played into the fact that they, you know, it was a lot of hills that they were going to have to battle. And, unfortunately, the hills were too great for them. And it's just, you know, I think that she, because of her biraciality, I think that she thought that she would be okay, because she never really, you know, if you look at Meghan Markle, like, to be honest, and going back to the whole colorism, like, culture here, like, Meghan Markle, she's a light-skinned woman, she's a light-skinned black woman in America, and that carries heavy weight, like, and she wasn't, when she got to Britain and they started going on her like that, I know it shocked her mind, blew her mind, because she's like, you know, she's never really had that type of treatment here. And it's, you know, I think that also, like, really triggered her to be in the state that she had been in, because of the fact that she wasn't used to any of that, because, as a light-skinned woman of color. She didn't have to really go through all of that. It was it was kind of like smooth sailing here. So
okay, that brings an interesting point. Before you go, Christian, because that is a very interesting point that you brings up. It sounds like Meghan, if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like you're saying that Meghan Markle wasn't expected to receive the backlash that she received from the royal family because in America she's at the fairer range of colorism. Therefore, she gets passed, and the royal family told her, light skin ain't white, baby.
She it threw her for a loop. It threw her for a loop for sure.
She used colorism as an entry in.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question too. To what degree do y'all think the Queen plays a major role in a lot of what's going on? Because also in that interview, everybody sort of upheld the Queen when we know for a fact that the Queen of England has always been a major player in all of those affairs.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say a lot, but I'm gonna let Christian take it first before we move the conversation.
They're never going back to the same conversation that Q brought up earlier about imperialism. Again, she is still Her Royal Highness in how many countries around the world? They're not going to talk. They are not going to go there with the Queen. That is Her Royal Highness. They are going to uphold that monarchy until the end of time. Like that monarchy it's never going to die. She is the Queen. So the Queen issued a statement, and she said that after the interview, she said that they're going to look into it, and she was deeply troubled. And I'm like, I bet you were deeply troubled. And then her dumb behind, and then Prince William came behind. What did he say, that we're not racist? Yeah. And I'm like, that's Twitter went up in uproar. Like that's exactly what people who are racist say. Like we're not racist.
And that's
like Papa John's getting the N-word out of his vocabulary.
But hey, we definitely appreciate you calling in. Hey, I definitely appreciate the perspective.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yes, it was a great conversation tonight, guys. I just had to call in. But definitely check out the link that I put in about the Danny Lay song about that, because I really think that colorism is also to play here, because again, Meghan Markle being a biracial woman and being on the fair side of that, it's just I think that I really think that she did not expect so much backlash, because she'd never really experienced that here. In America. So yes, but really great conversation tonight, guys. Thank you for letting me call in.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Christian, for calling. We're going to turn that into a forum chat. We got another conversation when it comes down to colorism, because I've noticed in the African diaspora that colorism is a thing that plays in weighs on Black women of the diaspora more than it does Black men, because I get passed often. They don't think I'm ADOS at all.
I would say it has its different effects.
It has its different effects. It does. But when you are dark skinned and you have self-control, you also are hypersexualized. It's a whole. I can show you that.
No, trust me.
Yeah.
The problem is because the problem is it's not a win in that situation, because on one hand, people have a hard time believing I'm African American because I can articulate and because I present well. And then at the same time, though, as it pertains to like on a relationship side, you also have women who particularly don't care for the features of darker skinned men. So like I always hear the conversations of darker skinned women. I hear them, but I don't think that people understand that, like, you have people who also fetishize dark skinned men because they feel like the bucks and all that. It's
literally, I have been told you're a white boy in the streets and you're a nigga in bed. Literally, I've been told that. But we're going to start that forum on thegildedsages.com. Colorism, but I'm also, because we're working on community guidelines right now, that's really important. The respect that we show our guests, we want you all to show each other. So when we start that colorism forum, I would really love for our sisters to lead that discussion. And why I say lead that discussion, not necessarily to say that we don't want our voices in it, but it's just like we want this to be a community base where we uplift different voices. So we don't always have to be a part of the Gilded Sages community and a part of the conversation for the conversation to keep going. We want our community and our website to be a place where people understand they can come and have complex conversations.
Well, you know, we had our calls tonight. I'm thoroughly happy. I
Yes.
love calls. That warms my heart.
It does.
That have the dialogue and the discourse outside. Again, I love all of these men in here, but we talk all of the time. I love talking to new people. My job is talking to people on a day in, day out basis. So I love it. I love to engage in that way. But with that being said, we are just gonna go ahead. If y'all can, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe if you can. Go over to the website. If you subscribe, you can check out our latest video that we did in response to the HR 40 hearing. We'll be uploading some more stuff that may not make it to YouTube sometimes, just in terms of how we're gonna go about doing things and creating our own space, creating our own platform. And so I want to thank everybody who did come out and join us this evening to have a conversation, to listen, to get in feedback, to comment. All of it is appreciated. If you want to, you can go over to our Instagram at the Gilded Sages. Follow us to just, keep abreast. We have other content that we put up on there. And so again, thank you all. Wish you a good evening. You all enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're having libations, enjoy. Stay COVID free. I'm about to give you sushis. Ooh. And y'all enjoy. We're going to catch y'all next time. Again, if y'all want to see certain stuff, leave it in the comments, leave it on the Instagram, or hit us up at, you can hit my email address at devonlacine@thegildedsages.com or Quentin Horton at thegildedsages.com, Daquan Johnson at thegildedsages.com. It's all on the website. Leave it. We'll take it. Because we want to, again, engage all the stuff y'all want to talk about too. So, much love.
When the president does it, it's not illegal.